That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it is week 9, and we got a ton of big football games to go over today. We got some fantasy friends to get that lineup set because, just like the NFL, you got to win your fantasy game today. It's no more BSing around. We're getting to that point of the season. So we got DM to Carpe. I hope you're ready. Get up, wake up. It's time for TSS Fantasy. It's time for TSS Fantasy. Fantasy. It's time for TSS Fantasy. Fantasy. It's time for TSS Fantasy.
You know, the great thing about being a football player is you don't have to take a shower to go to work.
There it is.
Well, Fred's going to a bowling tournament, so maybe he took a shower this morning at least. It's time to wake up. It's week 9. David's already in the house. He says, let's get it. Congratulations, by the way, to David. Got welcoming twins into the world. So congratulations to you, my brother. We do appreciate you joining us this morning. Let's get the introduction started. We got a lot to go over. Justin Jesus Herrera, welcome into the building, my friend.
I think I'm muted.
Nope, you're good now.
You're good.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry, I'm in a hotel right now, so as you all know, hotel goers, the Wi-Fi kind of sucks. You're a little delayed every once in a while. I was still hearing the intro in my headphone over here, but I'm glad to be in. Fred, if you come back in, I wish you a 300 game, you and your son today, because I'm an avid bowler myself, and I fucking love going to these league tournaments. But you got to get into a better league because, man, Sunday mornings, that's a hard one. Yes, that's fantasy takes priority, baby. What are you doing?
It's ironic that he bowls. He sounds like he should be in the Flintstones. Let's also welcome to the studio Greg OJ, the Juice is Loose Mayor. Welcome in, sir.
Man, I'm just happy I got an extra hour of sleep this morning, man. That waking, I'm like, whoo, I feel refreshed. Forgot to change the hour, but good morning, fellas. I'm ready to go. It's 9:30 game today, Kansas City and Miami. Ooh, I can't wait, baby. Let's go.
Well, I'm glad you transitioned to that because it's funny you said you feel refreshed. I don't feel refreshed at all. I woke up at 4:30, saw my phone. I couldn't go back to sleep. That's all I was like, I just can't stop thinking about this game today. Probably the biggest game I can recall. We'll talk about it a little more, obviously, in a bit. Let's get paid first. Let's go to tssfantasy.com. Check out our latest and greatest rankings. We got all of our, again, shop and compare. Jordan, Justin, Andrew, me. We got them all up there, so check them out. Go to Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code TSS. Right now, they're doing a promotion. They're going to double your deposit up to 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. $500. Get yourself a nice stack under Underdog. Use that promo code TSS. Also, Jazz Sportsbooks as well. Lots of great promos under there as well. And don't forget, if you're looking for some championship bling for your fantasy champion, look no further than Pro-Am belts. All right, well, while we wait for Fred, we have a medical expert in the building. We got injuries to go over. Let's bring him in. Brian Scott from the injury list.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Welcome. Good morning. Welcome to week 9, my friend.
Glad to be here.
What do we got on the injured list?
Oh, well, what don't we got going on is the real question. Let's start off with the big news. Kyler Murray has been officially entered into the 21-day window to be activated off of IR, or PUP as he was placed. So we should be seeing him making his season debut, not this weekend, unfortunately, but hopefully within the next week or two. With Dobbs being traded away, it sounds like he's definitely going to suit up. So we'll see how he does. He's been practicing, I think, since October 18th, so he's got some time under his belt there and should be ready to go.
They actually came out this morning and said he is still going to remain on the PUP, and they are not going to play him today. Actually going to play the rookie today at QB, which makes sense. I mean, Cleveland Browns is not the defense you want to come back from if you haven't played in a year.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's not going to play. The rookie will be starting for sure. Quarterback position, we'll keep going there. Deshaun Watson scheduled to start today, returned to practice yesterday. First time in a week since missing or re-injuring that shoulder the week before. So we'll see how he does. Unfortunately, this is going to be one of those things that's probably going to linger the rest of the season, given that he's not going to have enough time to get this to heal. And it sounds like it's a partial rotator cuff tear, even though they keep referring to it as a bruised rotator cuff. I'm not sure what that is. But if this is what is going on, he's going to be dealing with this. It's going to be a nagging thing, and it will affect his performance to some degree, probably for the rest of the year, unfortunately. So speaking of affecting their performance for the rest of the year, Matthew Stafford injured his thumb ligament, and I think this is the same one he might have had offseason surgery on a few years ago, which is concerning. It sounds like it's not that bad. He's been trying to get back, and they're saying he's not going on IR, but he's officially listed as questionable, but it doesn't sound like he's going to play today. He might warm up and he might test it out, but I don't think we see him this weekend. And speaking of thumbs, Justin Fields still kind of recouping from his injured thumb. Did return to practice on Friday and was throwing with a glove on, but it sounds like it's probably going to be at least another week, possibly two. He avoided a trip to IR, but it sounds like they're trying to get him back as quickly and safely as they possibly can. So I'm expecting at least another week or two. Daniel Jones is going to make his return after 3 weeks with a neck injury today. I'm not sure if that really means anything for my horrific Giants, but he's going to be back. I do think, however, this will affect his performance. I don't think we'll see him, try and stretch out some of these runs like he normally would. I do think he'll probably slide a little earlier, maybe get out of bounds a lot quicker than he normally would just to protect himself. Let's not forget he was dealing with an injury similar to this back in 2021, which caused him to miss the last 6 weeks of the season. So I don't think he's going to risk it. And Tyrod Taylor is officially out with his rib injuries. So unless they want Tommy DeVito back there, again, I don't think he's going to risk it, even though he will be playing. Running back position, Jerome Ford has officially come off of the injured report. He had worked his way back from a low-grade high ankle sprain. So low-grade high ankle sprain. But it was able to play in a limited fashion last week and should be full go today. We'll see. Damian Pierce, conversely, is out with an ankle injury. He missed basically all week with practice and apparently suffered this at the end of the Panthers game last week at some point, although it's not really clear as to when. So he'll probably be out at least. My guess is at least 2 weeks. We'll see what happens as the week goes by next week. Wide receiver position, we got Drake London is out with an injured groin. He didn't return to practice this week, and with a skill position player like this, the soft tissue injuries can be very problematic. So keep an eye on what he's able to do next week as he tries to recover from this. Puka Nacua had some knee swelling. Not sure what the injury was. I think you're going to have to amputate a leg to see this dude sit out. He's a rookie. He's trying to establish himself in the league. I don't see a little knee swelling hampering him. He was limited in practice, but is expected to play today. He's having a great year. We'll see if it continues. Curtis Samuel is out with some type of toe injury. He had to leave the game last weekend after getting the injury, and then this is coming off of a knee injury, so not good news for him. Be a few weeks before we see him back. It really depends on what's going on in the severity of the injury. They haven't been too clear about what exactly it is. Unfortunate news for Kendrick Bourne. He's out with a torn ACL. The issue with this is that this could potentially put his entire 2024 season in jeopardy based on the timing here. So that's not a good time to get an ACL injury as a wide receiver. Devontae Parker did not clear concussion, so he is out today. Josh Palmer is out with knee injury. He sustained. I thought maybe he had a chance, given that they have a Monday night game. It sounds like they're going to him out, so he will not be suiting up. And then Robert Woods hasn't practiced since the team's Week 7 bye with some type of foot injury. So sounds like he's going to miss another game this weekend, and then this is kind of smelling like a possible Liz Frank injury. I mean, this is kind of what we saw with Cam Newton a few years ago, where he injured his foot, tried to play through it, ended up, calling it quits and having season-ending surgery. I'm not really sure what's going on with Robert Woods. Not too much detail out there, but it kind of smells like that situation out there. So hopefully it's not that serious. Darren Waller for the Giants, again, not sure if this matters, is out and placed on IR, I think last I heard, with this hamstring issue, so we won't see him for a while. Gerald Everett with a hip, he missed this past weekend's game with a hip injury, but was present for a full day of practice yesterday, or Friday, I should say, and should be making his return for Monday Night Football. And that's all I got, unless anybody else got any questions.
No, I think you pretty much wrapped it up for us. We do appreciate it. Do me a solid. Let everyone know where we can follow, subscribe, get your great content. So till we see you next week.
Yeah, so at Injured List Pod on Twitter, the website, www.theinjuredlist.com. Myself and Andrew Leduc have been continuing our Inside the Medical Tent weekly blog for a small nominal fee, and you can cancel anytime. Chock full of great information, additional to what we do here today, along with some strategies as to how to navigate your injured roster players. And that you can cancel anytime, so it's totally worth it. Small little investment, give yourself a little bit of an edge. And then I got a new podcast episode coming out this week as well. Great interview with a gentleman by the name of David Kitchen, former collegiate football player, current strength and conditioning coach, and corporate leader. You want to check that out. It's a pretty cool story.
Awesome. Well, make sure we check out all Bry's great stuff. We appreciate you. We will see you next week. Gorilla Kid, a new commenter in our section. I'm going to get back to you in 1 second, my friend, and we're going to get to your question. First, we're going to hear from our boy, Matty Daddy, with his locks of the week before we send Bry out. Bry, thank you so much, my friend. We'll see you next week.
All right, guys.
Let's hear from the Matty Daddy.
Oh, yeah! But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Matty here with 3 locks for week 9. Been up and down at the quarterback position. We're seeing so many quarterbacks on bye or hurt. We're talking Goff on bye, Russ on bye, Purdy and T-Law all on bye. Plus you got Kirk Cousins and others hurt. We're talking Sam Howell as a lock at the quarterback position. Top 12 potential this week. We saw him last week, hot as a pistol. 39 for 52, 397 yards, 4 touchdowns versus Philly. QB8 in fantasy on the year. His only downfall are those sacks. Most sacked quarterback in the NFL, but he gets New England this week. They're talking about one of the league worst teams when it comes to getting after the quarterback. We saw 4 touchdowns last week. I expect 2 to 3 in week 9 from Mr. Howe. Get him in your life. Understand. Try to understand. He's a magic man. We're talking Taysom Hill versus Chicago this week. We saw last week versus Indy, over 60 yards, 2 touchdowns. You got Laporte on bye, Ingram on bye, and Kittle. Throw this Swiss Army knife in your lineup. 3 straight weeks of 17-plus points. This guy catches, runs, and passes the ball. I expect tight end 1 production easy for week 9. Get Hill as a lock. One more for the road. We're talking Garrett Wilson versus Monday night. We've seen 2 great weeks versus the Giants and Philly. We're seeing the Chargers give up the 3rd most points per game. I expect this to be one of those where it's a shootout and Garrett Wilson goes bonkers. We've seen him get the targets lately. We're talking 12 targets a game in 3 of the last 4. I expect wide receiver 1 production. Get guys like Devontae Smith, Michael Pittman out of your lineups and get Garrett Wilson. I expect another great week against a shitty Chargers defense. A lock for week 9. There you have it. That's 3 locks. How? Taysom Hill, Garrett Wilson. Back to you. Whoa!
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Matty Daddy bringing the locks. I kind of skipped around and we didn't do the weather just yet, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's go to Gorilla Kid. First of all, thank you for tuning in. Do us a solid. Hit the subscribe, hit the follow, give us a like. We appreciate you. First time here, he said pick 2 RBs and 1 flex. So here we go. We got Pacheco, Ford, Mixon, and Bijan. And then receivers, Flowers, Lockett, and Puka. This is full PPR. He commented earlier. So let's go to Justin for the running back question. Give me the 2 RBs you want to give him. Oh, you're muted, my friend.
I want to go with Ford, and I'm going to want to go with B-John in this one. Yeah, B-John's just the guy who's been automatic as far as catching the passes, and now he's got a quarterback back there who's he's a lot better quarterback than Desmond Ridder is. He's not talent-wise better, but he's a lot better at seeing the field. I think he's going to see B-John all day long, especially with London out. And then Ford, I mean, this is just a shot in the dark, but Arizona's terrible against the run. They're terrible overall, but they're going to be terrible against the run. I don't think Deshaun's going to want to be throwing the ball all day long. I think they're going to want to run the ball, and I think Ford is going to get back into the end zone this week on his return back to the field.
So, Gorilla, just so you know, America's team, since it's the first time he came in, the Miami Dolphins are my team. And I will let you know right now, one thing we are decent at defensively, they do combat the run very well. So I don't know if I'd have Pacheco in this mix. I do like Mixon, by the way, because the Achilles heel of the Buffalo Bills is their run defense. So I definitely would have him up there. But let's go with Justin's starters here with Ford and Bijan. Who would you then put in as your flex, Greg, with the options of Flower, Lockett, Puka, and then you would still have Mixon and Pacheco as an option as well?
My bad.
Good.
Still, I'm getting over this cold. Mixon for sure.
Okay, yep. And Dave, sorry, get him at the wrong time. And David agrees. He said he'd hit the running backs all the way. Yeah, I think we all agree. I think I'd go with all those running backs that you got there. I think it's a good mix. PPR, be damned. Like I said, there you got some great matchups with Ford going against Arizona, Bijan, of course. And, I think, again, we do have a good run D. But if it's PPR, you'll definitely get some dump-off passes to Pacheco, no doubt about it. So you should see a decent day, and it should be a shootout. So I agree with David on there. I'd go with all the RBs. All right, let's Fred's back in. Looks like he got a ticket. He earned a ticket from his time in. But let's get to the weather, and we'll bring Fred in and hear about him getting pulled over as we were doing our show.
It's time for the weather report.
All right, he's back on, and your son's speeding, and what? So what happened, Fred? You earned a ticket?
He did earn a ticket, a nice fat $281 ticket in Lake Mary, Sanford, Florida. Yeah, doing an 88 and a 65. I was like, "What are you doing, bro?" So the Jets didn't get to say, "Yeah," because we got the damn ticket.
Should have called him. We're busy doing a. Anyway, all right. Let me put you on mute because you got the echo going on. Let's go to the weather report. So dome games today. These are games you don't need to worry about your QB or kicker, the pass games or the kickers in these. Vikings at Falcons, Bears at Saints, Bucks at Texans, Giants at Raiders. And interesting enough, I had no idea the Germany stadium was also a dome. I had my buddy text me last night. He's like, it's calling for rain. And I went and looked it up too. I was like, oh no. And then I looked it up. It's a dome. So we're good no matter what. All right, let's get to the other games. Rams at the Packers. 53 degrees today, mostly cloudy, winds at 7 miles an hour. Commanders at Patriots. 58 degrees, slight chance of rain in that one, winds 8 miles an hour. Seahawks at Ravens, 67 degrees, clear skies, winds 9 miles an hour. Great day for football there. Cardinals at the Browns, 53 degrees, mostly cloudy, winds 7 miles an hour. Colts at the Panthers, 71 degrees, clear skies, winds up to 2 miles an hour. Cowboys at Eagles, 62 degrees, clear skies, winds 7 miles an hour. Bills at the Bengals, 50 degrees, chance of rain with winds of up to 2 miles an hour. And then the Monday Nighter Chargers at those disgusting Jets, 52 degrees, chance of rain in that one, and winds 7 miles an hour. All right, so there we go with the weather reports. All right, here we go. Let's get on to it. Well, like I said, I already hit Matty Daddy, so I put the whole thing all in order. So my bad on that. Let's get to some ultimate DFS lineups.
My final meeting with the gods from the heavens above, as they spoke to me and hit me with the power of the ultimate warrior. You can feel it, dude.
All right, let's get to numero uno last week. Once again, Justin reigning supreme. Might as well just call him Count Chocula. CJ Stroud, decent game. Alvin Kamara obviously came up huge in this one. Adam Thielen once again, and obviously AJ Money Brown, 132 last week. Not too shabby at all. Jordan came in, which, by the way, I should have mentioned earlier, Jordan will be back around Thanksgiving holiday. So he's just taking a little bit of time off, but we will see him again. 124.6, still participating in our picks and our ultimate DFS. So I want to show him back up there. And here I go again. Last, I just can't do DFS apparently. I'm just not very good at it. Look at all this. Okay, Hurts, Kittle. I did say Kittle was going to have a good game last week, so I'm going to pat my back on that. Other than that, though, just call me single digit Sally. I mean, that's all pretty much I got going on. Single digits. Ugh. So if you care what I'm going to do this week, I mean, I don't know why you would, because I'm not really good at it apparently. But let's go to Dak Prescott this week as one of my ultimate DFS great QBs this week going against Philly. They're 28th against the pass. So again, I don't know how you don't like that matchup. Jonathan Taylor, I'll go ahead and spend that money this week. I mean, I know Justin and I talked about on Friday, that Carolina run defense is atrocious. 31st against fantasy running backs. So love this matchup all day. I paid a little more for Saquon. Raiders all season have been bad against the run, 29th. So I like that matchup as well. Chris Olave, I laughed because Justin said if there was going to be a breakout game, it was going to be this one. And it was funny because I knew in the back of my head I already had him down. And I hope it is this one. It's either 18th against fantasy receivers. So I like the matchup there. Mario Douglas, this guy, off the waiver wire this week. If you watch the Patriots game last week against the Dolphins, I'm telling you, there's only one player that had any juice on that side of the football, and that was definitely Mario Douglas. So if anyone's going to do something, I think it'll be him today. Washington 31st against fantasy running backs. Brandon Cooks, again, get my stack with Dak. They're Phillies 32nd, dead last against receivers. Dalton Kincaid, gotta love this matchup this week. They are also Bengals dead last against fantasy tight ends. And then look at this. God, I put a jet on my team. Breece Hall. How do you not like this matchup with the Chargers 22nd against fantasy running backs? Then I got to throw this Saints D in. Chargers are, the Bears, their offense is 29th in the league for points. All that. Yeah, I'm good. Let's move on. Let's talk about Justin's ultimate DFS lineup. And you're on mute, bro.
Rightfully so. And let's start it off with Deshaun Watson. This was really my risky one here because I was going to look like I had complete egg on my face if he didn't show up this week. But I love that pick at 5,400. Deshaun Watson's coming back. He's going to be playing an Arizona defense that's not great at all. I don't expect him to be throwing a lot, but I will expect a good rushing touchdown from Deshaun Watson, maybe 1 or 2 passing touchdowns. That's all you really need from a quarterback. Breece Hall, really like the Breece Hall pick. I think the Chargers are weak against the rush. They always have been. And Breece Hall has just been putting the team firmly on his back each and every week. He does something ridiculous. I'm going to go and bank on him doing that again this week. Josh Jacobs against the Giants. Love this play. Josh Jacobs is pretty much the only one viable in this Raiders offense. He is just going to get dumped down passes all day long like he did in the first Aiden O'Connell game. Dalton Kincaid, don't know why he's so cheap after breaking out, but I'll take it. And to Coop's testament for last week, George Kittle had an amazing game against the Bengals defense. Why are we assuming that Dalton Kincaid's not going to have an amazing game against that same defense that couldn't stop the tight end before? I'm banking it in all day long. A.J. Brown, I don't have to say anything about A.J. Brown. Dude has, I think it's 6 straight games now with 125 yards. You don't need to say any more. Just lock him in. He's money. He's money all day long. JSN, they just seem to always be finding a way to get him involved in this offense. And I love it because it's exciting because you can put him out there at a cheap price and you almost bank that he's always going to get an opportunity to score. Garrett Wilson, another guy that you like the fact that the Chargers have a bad defense, but you hate the fact that the Jets have a bad quarterback. So, like I said on Friday, he'll find some way to circus catch one of his ringleaders' wild-ass passes out and pull it in and get a touchdown maybe. I don't know. And then Josh Downs. Mr. Consistency is Josh Downs right now. Dude's been pulling in 15-point games like it's nothing. He has when he scores a touchdown, he pretty much breaks all of fantasy because he'll have like a 30-point game. And then the Patriots defense. Love the Patriots defense this week. I was surprised they're so low. This team blitzes at a 40% rate. The last team to blitz at a 40% rate against Sam Howell got 6 sacks. You know who that was? The New York freaking Giants. I am all in on the Patriots making Sam Howell's day miserable today.
Love it. I love it. By the way, Fred, Dave said better hit up some good bets, Fred. Need to make up some money for that ticket. David also said he wrote up. Demario Douglas says his Genesis breakout player of the week. So he likes that as well. He definitely got some juice to him. Let's check out Jordan's ultimate DFS lineup. Let's see who he's got in here. Sorry, it's taking me a minute to pull it up. Apparently, he's got Gardner Minshew at the QB spot. He likes James Cook. He likes Tony Pollard. Jonnu Smith, that's a nice play, I think, at the tight end spot as well. Jamar Chase, with the big play there, obviously against this Bills matchup. Could be a good shootout tonight. Jacoby Myers in as well. Josh Downs, that seems to be a frequent play. And Nico Collins and the Carolina. He put the Carolina D in. I'm assuming maybe he kind of ran out of cash there. So, because I'm not really liking them regardless of where they're at. All right. Well, we don't have Mikey Betts anymore, unfortunately. I don't know what happened to him. It seemed like he went on to Barstool and then we just didn't hear from him anymore. But we did recruit a new betting, let's say, a betting expert. She didn't like to be called a betting expert when I said it the other day. But listen, if you know better more than me, I consider you an expert regardless. All right, let's quit hyping her up. Let's bring her in. It's Ariel. Bring her in. It's finally our new Vegas betting expert.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to fatten your stacks with Ariel.
Ariel, good morning and welcome in.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for bringing me in. It's so nice to be back on your Patriots Sports Radio.
That's it's TSS Fantasy. I know why you got that. Yeah, it's all good. You came, just so everyone knows, Ariel was a part of our Super Bowl special last season, brought up some great betting advice then. So we're happy and so happy to have you back. Give us, our audience, your big and your wonderful betting tips for today.
Okay, I have it for you. Look, everyone knows that I'm a spread and total player in the NFL. And perhaps even the best that there is. In the past 2 years, I've proven my record on TikTok. I'm currently at a 34% ROI in the NFL, and I have a 37% ROI in the NBA and 37% ROI with my best bets in hockey this season. So everything I do is returning over a mid 30% ROI in each season. And right now I'm working with the top AI professionals in the world, writing a book actually on sports wagering and AI intersects to push my ROI up even more into the 40% range, even 50% range. So I'm going to give you some specific props in a minute, but let me just give you some general trends based on what I do best. Since I am a side and total bettor, it's important to understand that there is a ton of square money showing up on the sides today, especially backing the Jets, the Chiefs, and the Bears. So what this means is that any player in the offense of these teams will be overvalued in the props, and any player in the opposite team's defense will be undervalued. And this is interesting because there's also a lot of sharp money on the unders today, especially in the LA Rams versus the Packers game and also the Chargers versus Jets games. So I would say to everyone out there watching right now, circle the Chargers and Jets game because everyone is going to overvalue the Jets and undervalue the Chargers. The Jets, I believe, are going to get their chops handed to them. The fact is that the squares are loving the Jets and the sharps are saying that the game is going under. So that probably means that this offense isn't going to show up on Monday night. The real sharp money on the totals is in the over on the Bills versus Bengals game. So for this game, I would say take a look at the quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, because they are probably undervalued here. Now, let's get into some individual prop bets. So these are just the general betting trends. Now let's look at some individuals. I believe that Devin Singletary and Houston going to have less rushing attempts and go under in a combination of rushing and receiving yards. Also, I don't think that the Raiders will show up. I think that they're happy to see their old coach go, but I don't know if it's going to improve their game. So I think another good combo here is Josh Jacobs on the Raiders going under in rushing yards and under in a combination of rushing and receiving yards. A third combo that I have for you is Reagor and the New England Patriots for the under in receiving yards and the under 1.5 receptions. So there are a couple of individuals who have singled out. One of them is David Carr in New Orleans for going over 0.5 yard rushing. And in terms of rushing attempts, Bijan Robinson in the Atlanta Falcons going under. I have another under in rushing attempts for you, and that's Hubbard on the Panthers. So do you see my trend here? I think there's a lot of people that are overvalued this week.
Yeah, that's really interesting because, we tend to, as fantasy players, you're overvalued quite frequently, to be honest. So it's good. I'm glad that you're bringing that type of analytics to us because that's really, the good insider stuff that we have no idea about, to be honest with you. We did have one comment for you, and I was going to ask you this anyway before we send you out and everything, but David went ahead and put it out for me. He wants to know where he can find your picks. He's like, he's been decent at NFL and NBA, but NHL's been kicking his butt. So where can all of our people find you and where can you help them out at?
You could absolutely find me on TikTok. I post all of my plays right before the game. My handle is ArielCalista, Ariel Calista on TikTok. And I always post right before the game. Sometimes it's like right up until game time, like right before the game. So make sure that you're coming to my profile and checking out what plays I have for the day.
100%. Yeah, make sure you go check all of her great stuff out. That's where I originally found her, was on TikTok, and found such great plays. She was on there. I was like, man, this girl actually knows what the hell she's talking about. We got to get her on our show. So we appreciate all of your knowledge and coming in today. Hopefully we'll get you back next Sunday because, again, this is just great stuff that we have no idea about. So it's good to have your insight in. So we do appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me on TSS Fantasy. So sorry for the mix-up in the beginning. I'm so happy to be here, and this is wonderful. So I'm glad to give you some insight.
No, we appreciate it. Don't worry about it at all. It gets confusing because we all kind of melded together. So don't even sweat it at all. I really do appreciate you coming on. Before you head out, we're going to send you off with our boy from Patriot Sports Radio, Eric. He's one of the producers on the show. He sends us a little clip every week. Maybe you can check it out before you head out. It's our homegrown props. So if you want to check those out before you head out, Ariel, we appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. See you next week.
Yeah.
morning. Welcome back to Homegrown Props. I'm out and about getting some, this is how you start a football Sunday, by the way. Get you some apple cider donuts. It's the time of year. It's incredible. The lady in there told me if I waited a minute, I could get an apple turnover, hot off the press. Got me one of those. We're off to a great start. So weak last week. Rasheed Rice really dropped the ball. That could have made it an incredible week, but we move on.
You can do it!
All right. We got to take some chances. I believe in Kyle Pitts. I can't quit Kyle Pitts. I was looking, any place you got apple cider donuts, you got free-range, non-GMO, homegrown props in there. And they got Kyle Pitts listed at 42.5 yards. That's insane. 42.5 over -115. Arthur Smith can't afford to hate all of his players. He doesn't have Drake London. He can't hate Bijan and hate Kyle Pitts. Charbonnet, did you hear Pete Carroll at the podium? He was basically like, there's nothing this kid doesn't do well. I love Zach Charbonnet. I basically wish he was my own son. Charbonnet over 11.5 receiving yards, -115. We can get that probably in one catch. And then Devontae Adams, we got the coach fired. I'm sure he was on board with that. I'm sure he took Aiden O'Connell aside and said, listen, you're going to throw me the ball 20 times, no fewer than that, or I'm going to have you assaulted, essentially, in an NSFW way. So we're going to take Devontae over 6.5 receptions, +100. That's crazy. It almost makes me feel like a trap, but it can't be. And then our Boye Mafe, over a quarter of a sack. They still have it listed at +150, which is incredible. 5 games in a row, he's had a sack. This kid can't be stopped. So that's what we're going to do. Pitts, Charbonnet, Devontae, Boye. Have yourself a week. See you right back here next time.
Marijuana is not a drug. I used to suck dick for coke. I seen them.
Homegrown props from our boy Eric, the PSR host guy. We appreciate you, my friend. All right, well, it's Sunday, and you know what that means. Time to get to some picks.
We're on a mission, guys. We're on a mission, guys.
We are on a mission today, and last week you could have just called me the Pumpkin King. 12-4 last week, and even Greg's got on one of those old school Walmart clown mask on. 10-6. Oh man, actually it wasn't that bad though. Wait, talking shit. Wasn't too bad, but unfortunately, you know what that means. Look, I had to make these a little more legible. 75-46. Greg is our new standalone jester right now. Jordan still stands alone right now. Look who's tied right behind him. Only 2 games. Me and Justin, and then Fred's only 1 behind us. Impressively enough, and it's funny that Fred has gone off of our, unfortunately, show, but just so everyone's aware, if you're going off of our picks, you're thankful that Fred's not on right now. All right, let's go and talk about the game of the day, for me anyway, the game of the season for the Miami Dolphins, America's team. Ironically, is in Germany, playing the Chiefs. The Dolphins lead the series overall 16-15. The Chiefs have won 3 in a row. The last time was in 2020. They won 33-27. The over-under is 50.5. The Chiefs are favored by 1.5. Justin, who you like? You're on mute, friend. Sorry.
God damn. Living in a hotel has got me all fucked up right now. Anyways, I'm going with America's team. What are you going to do, man? America's team, I think that the Chiefs right now, they're kind of showing their weakness. They're kind of showing that if you don't have Taylor Swift in the building, you can boat race these guys. I mean, let's face it. Last week, they looked freaking pitiful. Everybody wants to call it a fluke game. Nobody wants to face the facts that the Chiefs are a limited team. Like, they're a really good limited team, but they're a very limited team. If you don't get Travis Kelce going, where else are you going to go? Mecole Hardman? No. Rashee Rice? Maybe. But is he going to have the impact that Travis Kelce would? No. Not at all. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins, more weapons, and Tyreek Hill is going to have a hell of a revenge game this week.
Oh. Greg, what do you say?
Justin's drinking that Miami Kool-Aid, bro. He's drinking that blue Miami Kool-Aid. Come on, Patrick Mahomes was sick. He had the flu. He had one of those off games
Oh,
that Pat Mahomes
woohoo.
never
Brett
had.
Favre.
It was his lowest game fantasy-wise ever, and I don't see Pat Mahomes ever repeating that. So I expect a shootout. I expect to see the same Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce matchup, and I expect to see a lot of Pacheco as well to keep the ball out of Tua's hands. So I'm going with the Super Bowl champs, Kansas City's Chiefs, the real America's team.
There ain't no way in hell the Chiefs are America's team. That's first and foremost.
Two Super Bowls out of 3 years, Jason.
Secondly, right now, listen, I don't want to hype this up, but I'm dead ass. Right? I haven't been able to sleep. I mean, this is the game for the Miami Dolphins. I'm gonna throw a stat out there. I told Justin this off. I was like, I didn't even want to say it because I couldn't believe it was true that I even looked it up. The last time the America's team beat a winning football team, do you know when that was? Do you know when it was, Greg? Do you know the answer?
Jets.
No, it was not the Jets. It was the Buffalo Bills, and it was September of last year. This is a must win for the Miami Dolphins, period, point blank. If you want to do something in this football league, you have to win this football game. They have to win. I don't care. It is America's team winning today. We are split in Germany, if you will, for this one, though. So, yeah. All right. Let me get off my high horse.
He took his shirt off, Justin. You saw that? He took the shirt, got the tank top.
Yeah. He was ready.
All right, let's go. Vikings at the Falcons. Vikings lead this series 20-12. The Falcons won the last meeting, however, in 2020, 40-23. Over under 37.5, and the Falcons are favored by 3.5. Greg, who you liking this one?
Well, I mean, with the influx that we got in Minnesota, who's the quarterback? We don't know who's going to be throwing the ball. They don't really rely as much as I thought they would on the running game. So I'm going with the Falcons. The Falcons defense is pretty stout. They're not like world beaters, but they're pretty stout. So I'm going with the Falcons and the 3.5 points.
They are pretty stout indeed. Justin, who you like?
I'm going with the Vikingos over there, the Vikings. I think that Jaren Hall is going to show everybody he's a little bit better than people think. The Vikings are gonna pull it out because they need to pull it out. And the Falcons, on the other hand, guess what they lost to last week? A rookie quarterback. You know why that is? They're not nearly as good coached as everybody thinks they are. I think they're the biggest fraud in the league right now. And that's saying something because Arthur Smith I always thought was the biggest fraud, but I guess his whole freaking organization is the biggest fraud at this point.
Damn, he called him a
Justin is spicy this
well,
morning.
you call not just a let's not call you a fraud. Let's call you the nobody agreeing with you here. We all like Falcons. Justin's going with the Vikes. We got a question here from Domo. Thank you for bringing in your question. Appreciate you. He was offered Debo and Pacheco for Waddle and Gus Edwards. What were your thoughts on that, Justin?
No, I'm not taking it.
And it looks like
either.
Looks like you put in along with Kittle and Gus for Kelce. Which one is a better deal?
I would say Kelsey's a better deal on that one. Kelce is the deal right there.
Yeah.
He's
the deal breaker, if you will. You can't this is going to be a sloppy game. Still going with the Vikings. David likes that sloppy game as well. All right, I like it. Good deal, Domo. Thank you for chiming in with that. We appreciate those. Keep those coming. Bears at the Saints. The Saints lead the series 18-15. 7 in a row for the Saints in this series. Last time they played was in 2021, and they won 21-9. Over-under is 41. The Saints are favored by 8.5. What do you say, Justin?
Oh, well, the Saints will come marching in, and they will just bulldoze the Bears. I think this might be our first hammer down of the week. I don't know. I'm just guessing here, but this one just doesn't seem like anybody wants any part of the Bears.
Yeah, Greg? Oh, well, I guess that was that. Put the hammer down. We all like the Saints in that one. Yeah, that was kind of easy. I think you.
My bad.
Yeah, you're good. We it was a hammer down anyway. Saints are smash keyword. being should. Yeah, that's very true. All right, let's go. Rams at Packers. Packers lead the series 49, 47, and 2. The Packers, have won 3 in a row, and that was last year, actually. 24-12 they won. The over-under is 38.5. Packers are favored by 3. Greg, who you like?
You know, I wanted to text you and change my pick when I found out that Stafford was not going to play.
Did you know?
Yeah. So I'm gonna stick with my pick. I know you got the graphics done and everything done.
It's all right. If you want to change your pick, I can mark it down. It's fine.
Hey, Greg, to be
fair, a few times this year.
You're in a good mood this morning. I say thank you, sir.
Yeah.
But come on, man. It's the Packers are home. Stafford is not playing. Puka got a bad knee. It's not lining up for the Rams this week. So I want to go with the Packers, and I wanted to text you, and I should have.
No, all good. All good. No worries at all. What do you say, Justin?
I was going to say, Greg, to be fair, last week my typo worked out really, really well. So who knows, right? Who knows? Any given Sunday. But I'll just say this: I think the Packers are going to maul this team. This is the game where if Jordan Love doesn't do anything in this game, you really got to be concerned because there is so much wide open space for him to just conquer the day, for him to get Christian Watson, Aaron Jones involved, and really get this Packers offense going. So I'm going to go with the Packers. Hopefully it works out because I still have some Jordan Love stakes that I don't want to just trash right now.
What's super funny is that this was one of those typos, and that just so happened that Greg did get the Packers already. So you are straight, bro. You're good to go. We're
Jordan and Fred.
Jordan and Fred. Yeah, I'm interested to hear. I wish they were here to hear if they wanted to change, but they didn't. So tough shit. All right,
I'm out the basement, baby. I'm out the basement.
I love it. Let's go on to the Commanders at the Patriots. Commanders lead the series 8-5. Patriots have won 4 in a row. Big surprise. Last time they won was 2019. They won 33-7. The over-under is 40.5. The Patriots favored by 3. Justin, what say you?
I think it's funny that this matchup comes right after the trade deadline, where there were rumors that Bill was going to go to Washington and all that shit. So maybe he's going to go over there and stake out some homes, take a look around. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's in Foxborough. What am I saying? I'm dumb. Anyways, that defense, regardless, I'm just going to get to the meat and potatoes. That defense is going to be scouted out for Sam Howell. It's going to give Sam Howell some trouble this week. I'm thinking like 2 interceptions and like 4 sacks, guys. I think this is going to be a ravaging of Sam Howell.
I think you're right on the Patriots defensive side. Great smash play. You brought it up earlier on the Ultimate DFS talk. Greg, who do you like?
Well, before the Commanders traded their whole defense away, I was like, the Commanders is locked in to win this game, but I'm going to still stick with the Commanders. I think Sam Howell finds a way. The Patriots defense is not as good as we think they are. They're not pressuring the quarterback. They're not getting the INTs or the turnovers like they usually do. So I think Howell and Brian Robinson have a big game against Bill Belichick. And after this loss, Bill can go off into the sunset and just retire.
Go ahead and get your singing voice ready, Greg. On this, you're the only one that thinks the Commanders have a shot in this game. We all like the Patriots in here, especially defensively. We shall see how
out the basement, baby. Out the basement.
He isn't the only one because David likes the Commanders too.
Let's go to a good.
Thanks, Dave.
He put it in the comments. Sorry. All right. Dave likes Commanders too in this one. I like that. Seahawks at the Ravens. Good sneaky game today. Series is tied 3-3. Ravens have won the last one in 2019, 30-16. The over-under is 44.5, and the Ravens are favored by 5.5. Greg, who you like in this one?
Man, I like the way that the Ravens offense is looking right now and the way that defense is clicking as well. Seahawks, Kenneth Walker's a little banged up. Geno is not looking like Geno of last year, so I'm going to go with Baltimore this week.
Justin?
I like the Ravens on this one. I think the Ravens, a lot like Fred said, they're built better right now. The Seahawks have really been taking a banging, and then Geno he's just not Geno. He wasn't the guy we wanted to draft. He wasn't the guy that we wanted to celebrate for a comeback. He's back to being, pre-Seahawks Geno, where it's like,
That's Geno.
give him or take him. He's iffy, On a good team, he's all right. On a bad team, he's probably worse than Baker Mayfield. So, I'm going to just say this. Ravens, I think, are getting ready to go on a real freaking streak right here, and I think they're getting ready to take this division over. Sorry, David. I know you're in the comments over there as a Steelers fan, but I think it's going to happen.
Put the hammer down. The Ravens right now, as Justin said, they're just on a nice win streak, playing good football right now. Bucks at Texans. Texans lead this series 4-1, and they've won 4 in a row. Last time they played was in 2019, 23-20. They were victors. The over/under is 40. Texans in this one favored by 3. Justin, who do you like?
I've got the Bucks in this one. I like the Bucks. I don't think this story is over for Tampa Bay. I think they need to start getting some wins to win the NFC South. And I think the Texans, man, it's a great story, but I think they're starting to find these little kinks in the armor. I think CJ Stroud might start finally showing that he's actually a rookie here and there. And this is an old wily defense. This is a defense that'll stop the run and make you pass. And they still have good pieces in the secondary. So I think this is one of those games. It's going to be gritty and it's going to come down to the wire. But I think the Bucks, with their experience, are going to pull it out.
All right, I like it. OJ, what do you say?
I think Stroud bounces back. I think this is the game we see Nico Collins and Tank Dell go back how they looked in the beginning of the season. They don't run the ball anyway, right? Pierce is out. Singletary looks like waste of free agent money. So I think you're going to see Stroud drop back about 35 times and let that boy rip. And I think they're going to eat apart that Tampa Bay defense. So I'm going with the Texans.
It was precisely what I said on Friday, Greg. I agree. I think they tried to run last week, kind of proved to themselves they couldn't. It's time to let CJ Stroud open up and get this thing moving. I like Texans get back on the winning streak. We're split on this one. Jordan actually liked the Bucks as well, believe it or not. David says, I'm not a Steelers fan. So many bias, but let's go. He's a Seahawks and Bucks fan, apparently, or Seahawks, and maybe he's picking the Bucks. All right, let's.
No, he said note.
Oh,
he said note. I am a Steelers fan.
Oh, I'm sorry. My fault, David. I'm trying to move on. My fault. With Browns at Cardinals, Browns lead this series 33-16-3. Surprisingly, the Cardinals have won 5 in a row in this matchup. Last one was in 2021. They won 37-14. The over/under is 37.5. The Browns are favored by 8.5, and I'm not going to waste anyone's time here. Let's put the hammer down. We all like the Browns. There's no way in hell I see this Cardinals really doing anything, especially now with no Kyler Murray. If Kyler Murray was in this matchup, maybe. I could see them hanging, but now it's just going to be a joke. Smash start Browns D all day today against the rookie QB. All right, well, it is Sunday morning. We got to get our Sunday morning tunes in with our boy Chris Fox. He's going to bring us the Dingus Pick of the Week.
This is the Dingus Pick of the Week with your host.
Oh, hey gang. How you doing? Welcome back. Well, here we are almost halfway through the season. With all these bye weeks, start sits aren't getting any easier. But just listen to what the Fox says and you'll be all right. Now, some choices are a lot more obvious, like Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown's facing that Cleveland defense that's number 1 against the pass, number 3 in fewest touchdowns allowed to wide receivers, and gives up the 3rd lowest fantasy points to wide receivers. Especially with Dobbs moving out and either Murray or some rookie moving in, Hollywood's an easy sit this week. Now others are a bit trickier, like Alexander Madison. So you might be thinking, new rookie quarterback, lots of rushing attempts, right? Well, hold your yaller horn on that one. Besides the fact that Madison has only topped 13 fantasy points once this season, never broken 20, and has only 2 touchdowns this year. Oh, and he keeps losing touches to Cam Akers. The Vikings face the Falcons this week. who are giving up the third lowest points to running backs, 0 touchdowns to running backs, and the second lowest running back reception yards in the league. Madison's an ordinary citizen this week. And then there are the ones you got to look a bit harder for, like Tony Pollard. Tony has absolutely 0 touchdowns since week 1. He's topped 100 yards once all season, hasn't ranked higher than RB15, or had more than 4 receptions since week 3. And this week they face that number 1 Eagles rush defense, who have allowed 0 100-yard rushers, only 1 rusher over 65 yards, 4 running scores all season, and 0 multiple running score games. Add that all together, and you found a fantasy running back number 16 that's an absolute must-sit in Week 9. And hey, if you want something that's really easy, then just tune in to That Efin Morning After Show every Tuesday morning at 9:30 a.m. on the Fantasy Sports Corporation channel. We'll wrap up last week's action, get you started on next week's action, and we even have a live call-in feature so you can call into the show. Until next time, listen to what the Fox says. I'm like 19-5 this season. We'll see you next time. Be safe, everybody.
Sounds good.
The Dingus pick of the week. Thank you, Chris Fox. Make sure you guys watch his great show, the Morning Effin' After show on Tuesdays. The Effin' Morning After. My bad, I said that wrong. On Tuesdays. Make sure you check that out. All right, let's finish up the picks. We got Colts at Panthers. Panthers lead the series 5-2. The Colts won the last meeting in 2019, 38-6. Over under 43.5. Colts favored by 2.5. Justin, who do you like?
Let's see. I got to remember who I put on this one. It was the Colts, baby. It was the Colts. Sorry, I got to look back at my list every once in a while. Yeah, I just like the Colts on this game. I mean, it's the Panthers. We were talking about the worst rush defense, period. And then you got this two-headed monster. I think Jonathan Taylor gets his crown back as RB1 this week. He's going to run buck wild all over that Panthers defense. And then Zach Moss might still get you a touchdown too, because I like that they're still keeping him in utilage-wise. But yeah, I think the Colts, this is going to be an easy one for them.
Just for time purposes, let's put the hammer down. Everyone here likes the big Colts.
Damn,
We got a
let's
question here. Let's go to Greg on the question. It's from Nathan. Thank you, sir, for your comment. He wants to bench one of these guys. Mixon, Eckler, Hall, or Cook. Who do you bench in there?
Cook. What is wrong with you? Cook.
Yeah,
that's too easy.
That's an easy one there. I definitely agree. And David agrees he's down with the Colts as well. All right, let's get to the next one. The Giants go to the Raiders. Raiders lead the series 8-6. Giants won the last meeting 2021, 23-16. Over-unders 37.5. Raiders are favored by 1.5. Greg, who you like?
This is going to be the shittiest game this week, man. Like, this is going to be ugly, but I had to pick somebody, and I picked the Raiders. I think they're going to be hyped with the new coach. Antonio Pierce got me ready to put my pads back on. So I'm going with the Raiders.
For time purposes, Justin also picked the same. I actually went opposite. We split total as a group on this one. I think the Giants got enough with Daniel Jones coming back. This Raiders team, regardless of who is coaching, what's going on, I think they're just in shambles right now, quite frankly. So I like the Giants. All right, let's get on to the Cowboys at the Eagles. Cowboys lead this series 73-55. They split last season. Eagles won 26-17, and then the Cowboys won 40-34. The over-under is 46.5. Eagles are favored by 3. Justin, who do you like?
I like the Eagles, and I like them because it's home field advantage. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think home field advantage is really going to play into it this week. I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Greg, who do you like?
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. I think, as Justin alluded to, it might just come down to home field advantage. But it'll be interesting to me to see how these, you have this high-flying Eagles offense against a really stout Cowboys defense. And on the other end, the Eagles defense has struggled. So it'd be interesting to see how this plays out. We're split all the way down because I don't want to sleep on the couch. I'm going to go with the Eagles. But we all
smart man.
we all are definitely split on this one. David says Dak has the second highest win rate versus division foes. He's going against the boys. David also picked the Giants.
I'm out the basement this week, baby. I'm out the basement. I'm telling you.
Bills at the Bengals. Now the Bills lead the series 17-16. Bengals won the last meeting last year in the playoffs, 27-10. Over under is 49.5. Bengals favored by 1.5. Greg, who you like in this one?
Listen, I still don't trust Josh Allen and the shaky Buffalo Bills. I think they're still kind of shaky, and the Bengals are hitting their stride right at the right time. I think Chase and Mixon have some big games this week, so I'm going with the Bengals. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bengals on this one as well. I think the Bengals are going to kill it against the Bills this week. That's one of those teams that they just have their number.
Crazy enough, put the hammer down on this one. We all like the Bengals in this matchup. So, yeah, I didn't expect that actually when we got those picks in. All right, Chargers at the Jets. Chargers lead the series 23-14-1. Chargers have won 4 in a row. Last time was in 2020. They won 34-28. The over-under is 40.5. Chargers favored by 3.5. I already know who you want, Greg. Justin, who you like?
Jets, Jets. Break it down, Fred. Break it down, Fred. Break it down. Let's go. I like the Jets this week. I think the defense is going to have Herbert's numbers. Like I said on the breakdown show, 8 picks this year for the Jets, all of them coming against big-time quarterbacks. They really get at it on those big-time games. I love it. Jets, Jets.
We had a Vegas expert come in and tell you that the Jets are going to get smashed. I agree.
I don't even know her actual record.
Yeah, like could have said anything.
Hey, she's good on TikTok. I mean, that was a lot of stats.
Yeah.
All right, so we're all split down the middle.
I mean, nothing with that.
Maybe that's just because I'm a Jets hater too. That could have been a little bit it. Before we see Fantasy Jesus, we got a little bit of time. Let's get in a little bit of the mailbag.
You've got mail.
David said he's headed to Wake and Rake, so make sure if you're on here watching us, go over to Wake and Rake, check out all their great stuff going on right after us. We're going a little over, fellas. My apologies. We got to get to a little bit of these questions. We'll go to Justin first. Beef John Mustard, Derek Carr versus Chicago, or Justin Herbert at the Jets?
Well, I just said don't do Justin Herbert at the Jets, so I'm going to go with Derek Carr. You might not like it, but here's some news for you. Derek Carr's playing the Bears. Justin Herbert's playing the Jets. Much tougher situation with the Jets. I'm going to go with Derek Carr today against the Bears.
Justin full of pits and giggles. What do you think, Greg? Daniel Jones at Las Vegas or Sam Howell at New England?
I don't trust Daniel Jones with that neck injury. I don't think we're going to see Daniel Jones do as much rushing as people think he's going to be doing. So I'm going with Sam Howell. I think that New England defense is not what is used to be. So I'm going with Howell.
Justin, cool let the dogs out. Ramondre Stevenson versus Washington or Chuba Hubbard versus Indianapolis?
Ooh.
I'm going to go with Ramondre. I think that Ramondre Stevenson against Washington in New England, this has got the game. It's got a feel of a nice, gritty, fucking tough game. And you need a back like Ramondre Stevenson, somebody who's built for those tough runs. Plus, he's got 8 red zone carries in the past 3 games. I love what this guy's made of. I think he gets in the red zone today.
I like that. Greg, the Bryce is right. Kareem Hunt versus Arizona or Zach Moss at Carolina?
I like Hunt, man. Hunt's been getting the goal line carry since he's been back. He has, I think, 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games. So go with Kareem Hunt against that sorry-ass Arizona defense.
Justin Nakua Matata. Puka Nakua at Green Bay or Amari Cooper versus Arizona?
Amari Cooper versus Arizona. Puka Nakua having an injury. No quarterback. Amari Cooper getting his quarterback back, wanting to reestablish that offense against the bad defense. I like that matchup a lot better today.
Greg, I love when you call me Big Papa. I love it when you call me Big Papa. Greg Davis at Cincinnati or Gabe Davis, sorry, at Cincinnati or Chris Godwin at Texans?
Listen, Gabe Davis has been pretty consistent this year. He's been wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 the whole year. And to keep up with Cincinnati, I think Buffalo's going to have to throw the ball. I'm going to go with Gabe Davis in this one.
All right, Justin, if you're Thielen Froggy, Jahan Dotson at New England or Michael Thomas versus Chicago?
Ooh.
Jahan Dotson if you need to make up points. Michael Thomas if you need a safe floor.
We're getting down to the slim pickings here, Greg, with Najee Harris versus Tennessee. Sorry, excuse me, Hollywood Brown. I can't even talk this morning at Cleveland, or Chris Watson at the LA Rams.
Well, the Najee game happened already, right? Like,
yeah, that's
it
true.
already happened. Yeah,
he scored a touchdown. Go with Najee.
Yeah, so go with Najee. I hope he's in your lineup because he had a decent night, especially PPR. Justin, sometimes you golf no balls. Tyler Algier versus Minnesota, Raheem Shaheed versus Chicago. Brandon Cooks at Philly.
I'll go Cooks. I think Cooks has got a good chance to have one of those Brandon Cooks games this week. Like you said, Philly's got the worst defense pretty much against the pass, and it's not even close. Like, they had to go trade for somebody to reinforce that secondary and still gave up 31 points to Washington. I'm liking Brandon Cooks this week against the Philadelphia Eagles.
I like it. Greg, pass the Charbonnet. Jaden Reed versus LA Rams. KJ Osborne at Atlanta, or AJ Dillon versus the Rams.
These are tough ones, man. Because AJ, I want to trust AJ. I still believe in AJ Dillon, but he hasn't showed up this season. I'm gonna go AJ Dillon, the safe bet. Go with AJ.
AJ Dillon. It's getting cold out, so those thighs are starting to play a factor. All right. Well, that was the last of that, and it is Sunday, week 9. I got a big game I got to get to, so I got to sit here and really, really sit here and pray and pretend, really hope for a W. So let's put our hands together and let's. I can't even talk this morning. Let's talk to Fantasy Jesus and let me shut the hell up.
I'm here to save your fantasy rosters. Hey there, everybody. Welcome in to week 9 DFS picks for Fantasy Jesus. Here we go. We're going to get it started with Tua time. Tua Tagovailoa is going to Frankfurt, Germany. And that's right, he's going to be playing the Kansas City Chiefs, defending champions. This week, I love Tyreek Hill and I love Tua to light it up. Tua is going to be feeding Tyreek's revenge game all day long. Look for Tua to be your high-value QB DFS pick of the week. Then we're going to go to the running back position. Jonathan Taylor against the league worst Carolina Panthers as far as rush defense goes. Love that. Going to smash that over. I don't care if Zach Moss has a day. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to have a bigger day. Devontae Adams, fresh off of making the executive move of getting rid of Josh McDaniels and benching Jimmy Garoppolo, will now be playing with Aiden O'Connell. Last time these guys hooked up, it was for 13 targets. Look for Devontae Adams to have a massive breakout game this week against the hapless New York Giants. Next, we got our tight end position, Gerald Everett. Big surprise here, but it's not if you read the stat sheets. Last 2 games, 2 touchdowns. He's really been a beneficiary of Mike Williams being gone, especially with the red zone targets. Look for him to be in a favorable matchup this week against the New York Jets defense. And then finally, we got the Las Vegas Raiders defense, a fan favorite and a staple of Fantasy Jesus, but they've been so good this year. And now with a little bit more stability and a bad team coming in, look for the Las Vegas Raiders to have a day against the New York Giants. This has been 5 DFS picks with Fantasy Jesus. May your week 9 lineups be blessed.
I'm not sure who to start this week.
Trust in your Savior.
Trust in your Savior. Indeed. All right. Well, good luck to all of you this week. This is a big week 9. I know, especially for some of us out here, a huge week 9. Indeed. I got to get to my game. Good luck, fellas, to you. Good luck to everyone else. We'll see on Tuesday for a waiver wire show. Stick and stay on the Fantasy Sports Corporation. Wake and Rake is on coming up next. We also have True Serum with some starts and sits. And we got another episode of Brotherly Love with Steve and Luther breaking down the big Eagles and Cowboys game. We appreciate all of you for joining us today. Good luck, and we are out.